Censorship and regulation is becoming an ever-growing problem in today's modern media. From the mainstream to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/signup and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection from deception.
Pittsburgh attack, pipe bomb hearing. I'm Ann Cates. The suspect behind the massacre at a Pittsburgh synagogue that left 11 people dead has gone to court today. Correspondent Camilla Bernal.
The alleged gunman, Robert Bowers, was injured in a firefight with police at the Tree of Life synagogue Saturday and was released from the hospital shortly before appearing in court. The suspect faces 29 federal charges in the shooting death of 11 people. He was initially represented by public defenders.
56-year-old Cesar Sayoc, the man accused of mailing more than a dozen pipe bombs to prominent Democrats and CNN, also went before a judge today.
It was a brief hearing lasting just a few minutes. Sayoc was read the charges against him, and he answered yes to one question. He appeared to have tears welling up in his eyes as he turned to someone in the courtroom and mouthed the words, "I love you." His first appearance before a judge came hours after another suspected explosive device was intercepted by the U.S. Postal Service. This one was found in Georgia, and it was addressed to CNN. NBC News reported that he had a list of over 100 targets that he was working through, according to law enforcement sources familiar with the investigation. He's due back in court on Friday. I'm Steve Kastenbaum.
More troops will patrol the border with Mexico as thousands of Central American migrants make their way toward the U.S. General Terrence O'Shaughnessy says it's part of ongoing efforts to keep the border secure.
By the end of this week, we will deploy over 5,200 soldiers to the southwest border. That is just the start of this operation. We'll continue to adjust the numbers and inform you of those, but please know that's in addition to the 2,092 that are already employed from our National Guard Operation Guardian Support that's been so effective.
Another round of big losses today for Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 245 points. The S&P off 17. The Nasdaq down 117. I'm Ann Cates.
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network. We are TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Astronauts to the moon.
Ten, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Not to get off track here, but I feel like we're in the Truman Show and we're in a snow globe and they just shook it up.
Welcome to reality.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages. You are tuned into your protection from deception right here at truthfrequencyradio.com. And go ahead and wish upon a star, and it will come true, and you will be dialed in to the current and reigning #1 show on Truth Frequency Radio on Monday nights. That's between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m. Pacific, 9 to 11 Eastern. That show is Jeranism Monday Night Raw, and it starts now. I'm your host, Jeran from Jeranism, and my co-host from New Jersey is David Weiss. David,
why
doing?
Why am I from New Jersey all the time? You know, I don't live anywhere near New Jersey.
So where should I say?
Connecticut.
Hailing from Connecticut. I don't like it. You're from New Jersey.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, that's why.
Maybe from Long Island.
Hey, your middle name isn't Rockefeller, is it?
It is not. Thank God.
Sure. David Rockefeller Weiss. It kind of has a ring to it, but it would make me dislike you.
All right.
So, what happened this week? Anything new and exciting for you, my friend?
That's a long time ago to think back.
Well, let's start with what happened today. No, I'm just kidding. First off, let me give a big thank you to those of you listening in, those of you in the chat or listening wherever you might be over with the Sugar Bushwhackers at Sugar Bushwhackers 905. I forgot now.
Ginger Sugar Bushwhackers.
No whackers. Ginger Sugar Bush 905. Simulcasting as he does every week. Thank you very much for doing that. Or listening wherever you might be, right side up in the USA or upside down in Australia. Shout out to those perpendicular as well, or wherever you might be. Thank you for joining the show. We're happy you're here. If you want to call in, we'll have the phone lines open tonight, 213-233-3998. You can also dial 1-866-26-TRUTH. Either of those should get you through, but we're going to go with the same rules as we had last week. David, do you remember those?
One question and one question only, or present your ball or flat proof at the beginning of your call.
Exactly. So
right.
Let's start with each other. David, if I said, are you a ball believer or a flat earth believer, what's your answer? And what's your number one proof?
Flat earth believer, and we can see too far.
That's an excellent one. Very good. I would say I am myself a believer in the flat earth. And my one reason would be once you realize what's going on with surveying and the fact that things get smaller in the distance, and yet surveying calls that a reciprocal zenith angle. So when you look at something off in the distance and you see that it's below your eye level, let's say, clearly everyone in the world knows that that means that it's in the distance, and things appear to get smaller in the distance except for surveyors. Surveyors miss that, and they call that a lean. The item is actually leaning away from you, and they can figure out the angle. Obviously, it would be greater than 90 degrees according to them, and that's, of course, because it's below the eye level. So once you realize that, then you see, oh, well, there is no measurement that the Earth is curved. There is no curvature. And as David said, well, there's many other reasons. What about water? And we can go through the list. So if you are a believer in the flat Earth and you've got your best proof, give us a call. Again, 213-233-3998. Or if you are a ball believer, which David and I are former ball believers, so we feel for you. But we'd like you to come away from the dark side. We'd like you to see the light. But if you don't, that's up to you.
So if you're a ball believer and you call and you can't come up with one semi-reasonable ball proof, do they get to continue the phone call, or is that it?
No. Well, let's see how far it gets. But we should at least point that out to them at first. Okay. So before the show, David, I was watching a interesting documentary that just came out, and you were in it.
I was.
Yeah. Do you know what documentary I'm talking about?
With Jared Yaw, who I thought was Jared Dawson. Isn't he the Dawson brother of Shane Dawson?
He is the brother, but I guess that's where it comes into like people using fake names. I'm not sure if Shane Dawson is really his name.
Ah, okay.
Because I'm pretty sure that's his brother. Shouldn't his brother have the same? I don't know. Brothers from a different mother, I guess. Who knows? I can't.
Okay.
But tell everybody a little bit about the documentary. I thought it was, again, really good.
So, yeah, he was, him and his brother did a Flat Earth review a few months ago, and it got like 20 million hits.
Yeah, 17, or last time I saw it was like 18 million.
I think it was 19 and change last time I looked. And he decided to do a follow-up piece, and he was following Mark and Patricia around. I was invited out to the California meetup where he had come to, and we had talked there, and then we went out for tried to find some food, but ended up only finding cocktails. And we were talking there, and he invited me and Curious Jay to the studio where Mark and Patricia were, and he ended up interviewing me a little bit. Got a few clips in there. I think I said some interesting things, and I'm very pleased with it. We've been getting some good Flat Earth publicity lately, so that's new.
Yeah, if people remember last week, we were talking to Bob. We had him on the show for a little bit. He called in and was pointing out that he had just got done with an interview with a girl from CBS 4 Denver, and told us all to tune in. And that was supposed to be, I believe, an hour after the show ended last week. And those who tuned in were pleasantly surprised. It was finally not a hit piece. There wasn't the clown music playing in the background or the laugh tracks. It seemed to be a fairly presented piece, which is really all that we want. You know, it wasn't something that came out and said, oh, it's the Flat Earth Society, or that these guys think that the Earth is zooming up at 9.8 meters per second squared, which is usually how they started off, or, how these people think that we can go to the edge and that people can fall off, something like that. This one was actually presented quite well and ended with Bob saying, all we ask is that you do your own research. So I thought it was perfect.
Yes, it was excellent. I also had another interview that came out, I think it was been since the last show, which was on the Doubt Me channel.
Yeah, that was, again, I think that they keep getting better. I can kind of go back in time, and I remember one of the interviews I thought early on was one of the best, and then the one that I thought we did with Twisted 10 was really good, and then the one I thought that we did with Mel Fabregas in his program was really good. They kind of seem to keep getting better, and I thought yours kept par with that trend, blowing our previous ones out of the water. You're really getting good at condensing that stuff down to an hour's worth of information and presenting it in a clean, efficient way. So congratulations on the interview.
I'm most comfortable when I have an interviewer that says comes from the following standpoint, where they're like, hey, I've looked into Flat Earth a little bit. It's interesting, but I don't really believe it. But I'm interested in having a discussion. And that's my dream person. Somebody that is like, hey, I don't believe it, but I'd like to ask you some questions. So anybody that's in that camp, that's in the media or anywhere, I'm interested in talking to you.
I don't remember very many bad interviews, but do you remember the one that you and I got hung up on? I don't know if you remember that. It was probably a year and a half ago. We called in on a radio show. They even gave us a special line to call in. We called in and we waited, and then they came on the phone and asked us a few questions and then just hung up on us all pissed off.
I have no recollection of that. None.
It was like Bob and Tom show or Tom and Bob show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we recorded it.
I got nothing.
Lisa, you got nothing. All right. Well, it did happen. Let me tell the world that it did.
Well, if you don't remember it, then it didn't happen.
No, but I do remember it. So it did happen.
Well, that's the difference between you and me.
No, it happened. So it did happen in your world. You just don't.
Do you have any empirical proof that it actually happened?
I think we recorded it, and we just never released it because it was horrendous. It was those guys yelling basically at us and telling us we're crazy, and then they eventually just hung up on us. I'll have to dig it up. It was interesting. So, but it did happen. Just so you.
Okay,
got it. Good. Let's move on. What else happened? Last night I did a second part of a little presentation, or I didn't do much, but sit there and let Iru talk.
That was amazing. That was phenomenal. The green screen stuff. It just totally crushes the ballers defending the ISS.
I agree. I mean, at this point, you can't just look at the ISS footage anymore and say, "Oh no, I think it's real." And it's so fun for me. It's kind of pleasing for me because all the guys like Jeran White, is that his name? I think the guy who he did debunk the moon landings or made a couple videos about that, but he's certainly a believer in space and orbits and the ball Earth. And his excuse for why Flat Earth is crazy is because he shows video footage of them in the ISS and says, look, clearly the camera goes around them. They can have no wires. It's impossible. They're interacting with things around them, which would be impossible with any kind of a green screen rendering. And last night, Euro showed a little expo from 2016 and even earlier, where with software that would cost no more than $50,000, they were able to do it. You have to check out the video to see what I'm talking about. They're able to place a man with a green screen and put him inside of kitchens where he interacts with the kitchen items. You can see shadows and the pots and pans behind him. It just really blows all that they do out of the water. Because I've watched the ISS footage before and tried to watch the walls and said, I can actually see those guys' shadows. And now when you see that it's possible with green screen and what they have today, easily NASA would have been able to afford multiple copies of the best software 100 times better than we see today. So, they had their chance to prove to us space, and they failed. And now, the 3D rendering, the CGI, has gotten to be too good, too indecipherable from reality, that it's going to be tough now for them to prove this to a lot of people, because it's just such crap footage, crap evidence. And then when you see how easy it can be faked, that's the thing, is for something, for a place you'll never go and a place you'll never see, they just tell you about it, space. It certainly is so easy to fake. So if you can't go somewhere and you'll never see somewhere and it's so easy to fake, that puts a bunch of red flags for me.
And the other thing that he did that you didn't include in your short clip was the Argus system.
Right.
Where they have people, they show how they can make people float in the air with hidden wires. And Iru has a bunch of fails on the space station and points out stuff that I hadn't seen yet. It's just so blatantly beyond obvious. In the words of Nathan Oakley, it is observably and obviously fake.
I'm not sure that's exact, but it's close.
Yeah.
Let's go to the phones. We've got a regular caller that is Ginger Sugarbirth 905. Is that you there in Niagara Falls?
Absolutely, Jeran. How are you and David tonight?
Well, I can't speak for David, but I'm doing quite well, thanks.
I'm doing fantastic, thank you.
Anybody else think that David sounds like he's laying down? I think he's doing the show from in his bed. That's my prediction.
I am actually sitting in the corner of my comfy couch, leaning back. I'm very comfortable.
So I was
slightly inverted.
Yeah, I am upright, but I'm holding on for dear life, so that's good.
I figured that I could.
Okay, so my glow proof for today is you can see the Rogers Center from across Lake Ontario.
Yep,
and you should only see the top third of the CN Tower.
Yes, that's flat Earth proof, not globe proof.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, did I say globe? Well, that was a mistake, obviously. Yeah.
Hey, by the way,
that's
for you.
Okay, sorry.
I have a gift for you.
He's a little disoriented from looking at his thumbnail of his live feed.
I don't look anymore, so I'm not. It doesn't bother me. But what we did is we're almost done creating for you a new page to put up, a new image for when the show's playing, and a new thumbnail.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, so we're making that right. I will comment it on last week's show since I have that up here. I will comment links to. Looks like only Ace McLeod commented on last week's show. Thanks, Ace. Shout out to Ace McLeod.
Last week should be taken down now because it's only up for a week.
Oh, I still see it here.
So.
But, no, I'm looking at October 15th. This is 2 weeks ago. Oh, nope. This is
damn, I missed one again?
This is Ginger Calls Lucky and Brooks, TFR. I don't know how I have this up, but it's got mine.
Yeah, I did do that.
Yeah, why does it have Jeranism and DITRH up on the screen? That's the only image you had to put there? Thank you, though, for that.
Because I stuck with the I or whatever the hell it's called, the OSB or
OBS.
So I really stuck with all that stuff. So that just happened to be waiting for you guys getting going, and I had to call in and just.
Well, you gave us your flat proof, and anything else that you wanted to tell us?
Well, just I really enjoyed your short clip from the Eero stream, again with the green screen and all that.
Oh, good, thanks.
Because when they had the guy that disappeared going off to the right on the ISS,
right,
it was just like the guy walking off camera. It was uncanny how perfect that was.
Identical, huh?
And I'm pretty sure I called him. There was a ghost on the ISS when I took a clip of that and threw it up there ages ago. But yeah, that's
I think it really
friggin' awesome, man.
Explain it all when you see him play with these items in front of the screen, and now that it's part of can be so easily a part of augmented reality. It's just they had their chance. I don't know. Go back and look at the 70s and 80s, 90s footage of space, and you'll realize it's all done with models. It's all done with cartoon graphics. None of it's real. And then when you go to now to see the real stuff, and you realize that exactly what you would expect when you see the level of technology that we have with green screening and chroma keying. I don't know how you can just believe it anymore. It's quite important when it comes down to where you live, because it really impacts everything about your life as far as why you're here, what's the purpose of humanity. And if you don't know where you are, then you sure as hell don't know where you're going.
They've been doing this.
It explains as well.
Good.
Sorry, just the back in 2001 when the plane went through the tower, when it should never have actually come out the other side.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it was a masking job on a live video edit. They were playing with some of their toys. Yep.
You know that the guy that
was 2001.
filmed that scene, Ginger, the guy that actually filmed the shot where the plane comes in from the right and the nose comes out the other side, who was on the Chopper 5 helicopter, is the guy that wrote the software and teaches the course on how to insert a live aircraft, how to insert a fake aircraft on a live stream.
That's in my notes for my original comment.
Yeah, he wrote the software and teaches the course on how to insert a fake aircraft onto a live television feed. And he's the one that happened to catch that.
Coincidence.
It is.
And share it with everybody.
Yeah, it is a coincidence.
Quite. So, Ginger,
it's brutal.
Check the comment section. I hope this works. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this. If you check the comment section on your video, Ginger calls Lucky and Brooks, TFR 10, 15, 18. Tell me if you can click that link, and you should have an image. That's the hope.
Awesome.
Yep. So tell me, did you get it?
I think I could probably get there.
Okay.
Again, I'm slow with computers.
No problem. I'll send you an easier link.
Yeah.
Break. But appreciate the call. Any final words? We got more callers lining up here.
Well, just thank you very much for bothering to do that for me. That's awesome.
No problem.
I definitely appreciate it.
It needed to be done.
There's 13 people watching here.
Needed to be done.
Sorry, David.
It needed to be done.
But before that,
it was actually it was a mercy creation.
Nothing even needs to be said. David just texted me a picture of it, and no words were said between us. It just was, oh, I see. We need to fix this. So anyway, it's coming across.
It's Salvador Dali.
Oh my God.
And the only icon that was worse than that was David's until I fixed that one too. So if you're in love with David's icon, the reason why is because I made that as well.
They're very similar.
Yes.
I wish I could remember David's old one, to be honest.
Just
it was terrible.
Look up deep inside the rabbit hole logo. It's out there.
It's painful. Yeah. All right. Appreciate the call. Thanks so much. I'm going to let you go there. We have another caller calling in from New York, it looks. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this? Where are you from?
Mark.
Hi, this is Wilmer from Long Island.
What's up, Wilmer?
Hey, I'm calling. Well, I guess if I have to follow the rules, I guess my proof is when I see the sunshine, the sun rays, I think it's very close and just right there instead of
crepuscular rays.
Away.
Beautiful. Yep, it's a good proof. I agree with that one. So you're a flat earther, then I take it.
Yeah. So I'm also calling because related to the last episode when you guys were talking about how the sunshine lights up the bottom of the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know what's your take on the videos that you see on YouTube where there's clouds behind the sun.
Good question. Appreciate the call. We'll go ahead and answer that. Do you have another question, or is that it?
No, I have sort of a theory. I haven't researched a lot into it. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Okay, go ahead.
Don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead, and we'll answer the question.
I think
after about the.
All right, so I think the sun levitates like over the earth, and the perfect examples of sunset and sunrise are usually over the ocean. So the ocean is like we don't really know how deep it is. So I think it's like, a couple miles deep.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it might drop a little bit while it's on the ocean. At least that's what I think, just from observation.
All right. We'll answer the question first. David, do you have a opinion of what he's talking about with those videos?
Yeah, I was a little confused by his answer there, but and I've said it before that I think that we see the sun rendering in a position unique to ourselves, and if you catch it at the right conditions from the right altitude, you could possibly see it in the clouds.
Yeah, I would say the same thing, but I would say when we see balloons, helium balloons like Dwayne Kellum's and other near space launches, when the balloon gets up out of the clouds, obviously above the clouds, the sun is always up above the clouds. So
right. Well, that's because you're viewing it from such an elevated level. But the
Correct.
one, take the one that Matt Flatworth shot from an airplane, which was probably not even at cruising altitude yet, and there was a nice cloud deck there, and it was sunrise from where he was. Those are the right conditions to catch it. But if a balloon was 50, 80,000 feet above Matt, they would see the sun above the clouds at the exact same moment, right? In my opinion.
No, and I think that that's true, and I think that it's a subjective thing. So we each see the sun in a unique position, kind of rendering, like Dave said, in the clouds or in the atmosphere above. So yeah, you can get a position where it will, in my opinion, appear that there's clouds behind the sun, but I don't think there's any way you could ever physically prove that there is, because if you went there to look, the sun obviously is going to move its position based on you moving up higher into the clouds. So technically, no clouds are ever behind the sun, but you can be in positions where you would be able to film what looks like clouds behind the sun. That make any sense?
Yes, it does.
It's crazy that does make sense.
It is crazy that does make sense. So, and then say it one more time, because before we go to a break here, we have about 3 minutes. Say one more time what you said after that about your theory. So you said that we don't know how deep the ocean is, and it might be a couple miles.
Yes.
Well, probably from the shore of any beach, the ocean's not going to be more than a mile or half mile deep.
Of course, it will be like in the middle of the ocean, very far from any land.
Okay, got you. Where it's several miles deep. I got you. And you said you think it goes down.
So
what goes down?
It will drop the same distance, but it's so far away from us that we don't really notice that. And because the sunsets and sunrise happen so fast, and the sun moves up. I don't know how to explain it, but it happens within minutes that the sun moves out. So I feel like it could be physically the sun moving up and down.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I tend to think that the sun stays for the most part, at least in its daily orbit, at the same height. But that's, again, it's to my perspective, So I don't think that the sun is necessarily a physical item that we can put that kind of restraints on, that it's moving up or down. It would depend on where you're viewing it from. Dave, any final comments?
Totally agree. Are you coming to the conference to discuss this with the hundreds and hundreds of other flat earthers?
Absolutely. I'll be there to speak.
Actually. Not you, the caller.
Oh, yeah, I won't. I'm in New York. It's quite a trip over there.
So am I.
Yep, you can just get on David's back and you guys can march on over there.
You're closer to JFK than I am, and it's a $91 flight from JFK. $91.
Really? To Denver?
Yeah, to Denver.
Wow.
Or to LaGuardia?
No, JFK to Denver, JetBlue, $91.
Unbelievable. What a price.
Yeah.
All right, well, if you're not going to be there, at least tune in. I know that many of the speakers will be offered for free on the Flat Earth International Conference channel, or maybe possibly Celebrate Truth, which is Robbie Davidson's channel. I'm not sure, but make sure you check it out. Promise?
All right.
All right. Yes, thanks for the call.
Thanks for the call, guys.
Before you let me go, can I say something really quick?
Well, it comes with cost, a price too large. Cause if we're really just born to die, Stay in school, they said. Use your tools, they said. But being
Tell me about the waters of your homeland, Morty.
It is well known that the key to escaping the Matrix is purifying your consciousness. But our consciousness is bombarded daily with chemicals in the air we breathe, the food we eat, and the water we drink. This is why we are proud to bring you TFRwater.com, where you can get the Alexa Pure water filtration system. Unlike typical water filters, the Alexa Pure comes standard in stainless steel to keep your water free of BPA and dangerous chemicals found in plastic. This revolutionary water filtration system removes 99.999% of all contaminants, including fluoride, a dangerous neurotoxin added to drinking water, which was first used in Russian gulags to keep prisoners docile. This is standard without the need for expensive add-ons. The Alexa Pure retails for $199, but you can get $50 off by going to TFRwater.com now. Supplies are limited. 4 per person, please.
This is iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio makes you want to move.
When you have a great melody,
a song lasts forever.
instantly connected.
I love it when the beat goes.
Did you know you can listen to Truth Frequency Radio on iHeartRadio? Just download the app to your smart car, smartphone, or smart TV and get the best of TFR wherever you are.
iHeartRadio.
I'll see you there.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
I bring you a message. A message few of you will be able to believe. A message I alone was able to read in the fires of the universe. I also bring you the means with which to save yourselves.
What are you selling, Mr. Snake Oil?
Bring your friends here.
My name's Jimmy. And every Friday and Saturday night, right here on True Frequency Radio at midnight Pacific, straight out of Santa Cruz, California, I'm cooking up a fresh edition of Into the Microcosm. It's not just a show, ladies and gentlemen. It's an adventure. Every Friday and Saturday night. Your number one alternative to the alternative and the underground. www.tfrlive.com. Good times ahead. See you there.
Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, make it TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, welcome back. You're listening to Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Thank you for joining us wherever you might be. I just posted in the chat room a link to the 2 images for you for Ginger Sugar Rush 905. So check those out or check your video as I discussed. If David's still there, David, are you still there?
I am still here. I'm not sleeping. I'm doing great. I'm just relaxed.
Just checking. There has been an official 2 or 3 shows that you've fallen asleep during.
There was one time on a 5-hour hangout when it was 4:00 in the morning that I did fall asleep. Yes.
Okay, just once, I guess that's true. So welcome back. Let's go back to the phones. Is the caller still there? I think he left. So let's go to this caller. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this? Where are you from? Go ahead and mute that one. I'll give you one more chance here. If you check your listening page and turn the volume down, and then we'll try it again. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this? Where are you from? That will be the end of that one. We'll go to the next caller. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this? Where are you from?
Hey, guys. Good times for all, or Zachary's about here if you prefer.
Oh, Zach.
What's going on, man?
What's
Thanks for all
happening,
the shout
Zach?
outs you've been giving me lately. How we doing, Dave?
We're doing
good.
good.
To chat with you again.
Glad that you've been hearing those.
Wonderful.
Wanted to get you actually on the show sometime, so maybe we can plan that. I know you've done a huge amount of optical experiments, and so I guess tell us at this point, globe Earth believer or globe Earth skeptic, flat earther? What are you?
Yeah, I'm definitely, well, I have trouble saying it's flat since I bent water using electricity. So I say it's definitely not a ball. It's definitely not a ball, but I'm not 100% certain if there's a little bit of bulge somewhere maybe. I don't know. So I think your fourth the line would have been perfect. I was hoping that was going to be done and we could have done it all over the world. But something like that I think needs to take place.
It is going to be done.
Yeah, east, west, north, south. It needs to be done on every shoreline, everywhere, so we can really map this thing out. Because I mean, there could be a bulge. I'm not saying there is. I mean, it could just be perfectly flat, but there also could be a bulge, I think.
So
I
the
don't know.
test
But
that
yeah,
you're
definitely not a spinning ball.
Yeah, no. Earth is stationary. The test that you're talking about, are you talking about the force the line like the one that we talked about with mechanical pieces and building it as we go, or are you talking about the one, the torque the line experiment?
The torque the line, yeah. Torque the line. I think that's awesome. Great idea, man. I've been telling everybody about it.
Good, yeah. Mitchell from Australia, friend of the show, who's called in quite a few times, and we've talked to him probably 3 weeks ago about his experiment, and he did earn the money, so I know that experiment will be coming up soon, taking place down in Australia. So looking forward to that for sure, because awesome. I totally agree that experiment should tell us whether or not there is a hump of water between two locations.
Zach, Mitchell is, I believe, a weekly visitor on the new Paul and the Plane podcast, who I believe the first episode came out today, and Mitchell makes an appearance each week, like Chris Elliott under the bleachers.
Oh, awesome! I have to check that out. Yeah, I've been living nomad life lately, so I haven't had as much internet as I'd like to have.
Where are you, Zach?
I'm on the Arizona-California border. I'm about 13 miles into California right now.
How far are you from Denver, and are you going to tread your way out there?
Oh, yeah, I got to drive to Phoenix, and then I'm just going to fly in from there. But, yeah, I will be there for sure.
You're coming.
Well, I'm trying to get a hold of there's a guy that's supposed to watch my dog, and he hasn't answered the phone the last couple of days, but he does this every once in a while. He's a nomad himself. So I'm not too worried about it. I'm sure he'll be there. We're supposed to meet up here in a few days. I'm going to be following the van build. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that.
The what?
But it's a bunch of nomads. It's called the van build gathering, where a bunch of nomads all get together and teach each other how to fix their their vehicles to be able to where you can live in it, kind of like D Marble does.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
And I want to go there, and I'm going to flat smack everybody there.
Do you have your ticket yet for the conference?
No, I am a volunteer.
Ah, very good. So that's a ticket.
Yeah.
If you volunteer, you get a ticket.
Yeah, I got my ticket. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Very cool.
Can't wait to see you guys.
Can't wait to meet you.
Definitely. But my favorite spinning ball,
debunked,
unproof or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, debunked. There you go. Is stellar aberration. You actually taught me this one, Jeran.
All right, tell us about it.
Figured out by James Bradley in 1728, showed that certain stars in the sky tend to, every star does it, but only certain sections of the sky will do it on certain years. So they all precess, 0.02 degrees or something like that, or 0.002, something tiny, or arc seconds actually. It's something very minute. But then like every 4 years, they go back and jump back like 0.06 arc seconds and reset themselves. But they don't all do it at the same time. It's different stars in different parts of the sky, which totally debunks that we're spinning.
Right.
There's no way. And they knew about this hundreds of years ago. And in NASA, when they mark it down in their little books, they put a 0 when it goes backwards, and then they write it off in the ledger side, the actual movement.
Yeah, absolutely. And they call it negative parallax too, or they say that if you observe a negative stellar parallax, to take the positive previous parallaxes and average them and then insert that instead of the negative parallax. It's like, thanks a lot.
Yeah, it's such nonsense. Oh, man. But yeah, thank you for that one. That's the one I throw at everybody.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite ones.
It's kind of the same idea of the cutting off the ends of the ham that we talked about last week with Chris Van Mitre's debate with Jesse Kozlowski. I know you've talked with Chris before. And so excellent job. One thing that I do want to mention, can you tell people about the experiment that you did in the long warehouse that you work in? I thought it was one of the most telling experiments I've seen, where you see the items kind of ramp up to a certain point. But go ahead and tell people what happens from that point on.
Are you talking about the where I did the little paint buckets all the way down, or I did it with a light source, and I also did it with some paint can lids? I did a bunch of them there. So.
Yeah, the ones with the little black, I think they were little cans or something.
Yeah. That is, I was showing how Aries diffraction will actually cut off the bottom of the buckets once you get so far away from them. And it's all based on perspective. How it looks like they're arcing down in the back. And then at the bottom, though, once it gets so far away, you reach your angular resolution limit of the lens. And if you have a circular aperture, which our eyes do, our cameras do, telescopes do, where the top meets the bottom, where we cut it in half with our sensor, all the information starts getting jumbled up once the angle gets so small. And it'll start blurring everything together. And this is why we see the bottoms of boats disappear. This is why we see the bottoms of buildings being cut off. And a lot of it has to do with, this is a fundamental limitation of every lens with a circular aperture. But if you put in atmosphere, it only gets bigger.
Right.
There's an equation you can use called Rayleigh's criterion that'll give you the minimum. But when you start throwing in atmosphere and particulates into the air, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you'll see it. It'll start to even cause like a mirror band.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, once you hit that certain angle.
Now I've heard you use it, and I've heard Nathan Oakley use the name Aries diffraction. Is that something you named it, or is that something you found?
No, that was George Biddle Airy.
Yeah, tell us about
that. Because even when you're looking up at stars, it's pretty much you have two light sources. Say you're looking at a set of car lights, tail lights, and when they're right by you, 5 feet away, they look, like they're 5 feet apart or however far apart they are. But as they start driving off into the distance, those light sources start getting closer and closer and closer. And once they reach your angular resolution limit, the two light sources will blur together and make one light source. And this happens in a cone shape. So it happens with everything we look at. When you're looking at trees off in the distance and you're trying to look at the leaves, once you get so far away, all the leaves blur together. You have to think of every line as its own little individual light source. And eventually, once they get so far away, they're all going to blur together.
Zach,
and eventually,
how long was that warehouse that you did those experiments in?
460 feet at the longest one. Now, the little paint can one, that was only about 200 feet that I had. I did that in a different spot. But the other two, the one where I made the sun, made the flashlight look like the sun and made it set, completely, that was at 460 feet. And then with the 2 paint can lid, that was also 460 feet.
I plan on redoing Nathan Oakley's disappearing book in our brand new Home Depot, which is right near where I live. It's the largest Home Depot, I believe, on the East Coast or maybe even in the country. And their center aisle, it's like glass. It's a perfect, smoothest floor, and it's so friggin' long. It's unbelievable. So I'm gonna put my P900 on the put something like a book at the far end, and then have my P900 up, put it down on the ground. So essentially, I think it'll disappear, and then zoom in on it to prove that the floor is flat.
You know, it would be a really cool thing if you could get another camera with a different size aperture.
Now you're asking a lot,
maybe
man.
your cell phone camera. A cell phone
now
camera.
You're asking
Use your
a
cell
lot.
phone camera.
Use your cell phone.
Your cell phone camera will disappear much quicker than your big P900 because the aperture is so much smaller. That's Rayleigh's criterion, the equation used to figure out how much is going to disappear. It all depends on the diameter of the aperture of the lens. That is like the main thing when you're talking about cutting things off at the bottom, as long as the atmosphere is the same.
Right.
I was thinking about doing it here, but I'm looking for a flat surface.
This one is open until 11 p.m. and there's nobody in there after 9 p.m. So it's empty.
Nice.
Yeah, it's well lit.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect testing place for doing that. So I'll be doing that pretty soon.
I can't wait. Heck yeah, that's awesome, man.
To see all the people say how fake the footage is. Dave's doing it.
Yeah, your disappearing sun is just amazing.
Somebody who there's a YouTube impersonator out there of me was saying on Nathan's that the floor is curved, and nobody was saying no, it wasn't. They're saying, well, maybe it was curved, and so zooming in on it would prove that it's not curved. If it disappears and then zooming in on it brings it back, that proves it wasn't curved, right?
It does to me, but you have Globers telling you that it's you pulled it back over the curve.
that cement is very dense. It could refract the light. You're right.
Right. The lights in the Home Depot could lift that image for you and display it right at the horizon line.
Right.
For now. So, Zachary, before we forget, can you tell everybody where they can find you, your channel and everything? Because I think there's so many great optical experiments on your channel. It's one of the few channels that I recommend all the time. You, Wide Awake, Dave from Wide Awake, I think, has one of the best channels for observations out in Florida.
Yeah.
I saw something sad yesterday in the chat for Globebusters. I saw Dave from Wide Awake say he was thinking of hanging up his hat, hanging up his camera because nobody cares anymore, and he's having such a hard time getting people to view. And I just think his work is invaluable. I wish he would start a GoFundMe or something to maybe change his camera over to a infrared camera. I would love to see the same observations he's been making for 2 years or longer, making them with an infrared camera so we can see the difference it makes when you cut out the distortion. So I got to talk to Dave. Dave, if you're out.
Man, I hope he doesn't. Yeah, I hope he doesn't. He does amazing work. I always, like I said, I've been being the nomad for about 2 months now. So the last couple months I've really been out of the loop. I've only had Wi-Fi one time, and that was for like 4 days down in El Paso when I was down there hanging out. But yeah, I'll get back to it here soon. I'm supposed to meet up with a guy who's gonna have a bunch of Wi-Fi that he could, let me hook up to, and then I'll start doing all my stuff again. But yeah, Good Times for All. It's spelled really crazy. It's GUDTIMS, the number 4, and then ALL. And yeah, I'm still putting out videos. I'm actually working on my equation right now. I don't know if you guys saw that video, but I wrote a equation for how much should be cut off of the bottom using any size lens, looking at any type of light source at any distance. And it will give you the minimum that will be cut off using Rayleigh's criterion and then a couple other right angle triangles and stuff like that. Real simple. It took me like a year to think of, but it's so simple. Most things that are like that are simple.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a recent video you did. I don't think I've seen that one, but the formula.
No, I put it out, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, maybe. No, that was a couple months ago, actually. I think before I left.
Okay,
I don't even remember now. It's been a crazy couple months.
I usually stay awake.
Yeah, actually, I was working on it right now, but it just got too dark. So, but I'll be putting it out hopefully tomorrow. I'm going to drive into town and hit the Burger King parking lot and use their Wi-Fi and upload a bunch of stuff.
Cool. Very cool. All right. Any other comments, questions, concerns?
No. Thanks for the chat, man. I love the show. I love your guys' work. Both you guys. You guys have both taught me so much, and I can't even tell you how much I appreciate it.
Well,
so much of the stuff that I've done came from stuff that you guys.
We all teach each other.
Yeah.
You do an experiment, gives me an idea. I do it. Then Jeran takes it to the next level, and then you take that to the next level. So it just goes around and around.
Yeah.
Around and around,
That's all
like
we gotta keep
over a
doing.
flat surface, not like over a ball. It's just like circling around. Just to
goes around.
Yeah, it goes around.
Just like the sun.
Hey, Zach, if
There you
if a baller showed up on your channel and just started putting all sorts of ball nonsense, do you ban them for life or do you let them hang out?
Now, if they have real serious questions and they want to have a conversation, I'll answer them and talk to them. But if they are just sitting there trolling, I don't ban them. I just erase the comment. And they've
Okay.
learned over time not to even come and look at my stuff anymore and comment.
I mean, people like to just waste their time, drop comments that are going to be deleted. So that's a good method.
Yeah, because if I ban them, then their comments can still be seen by other people. And
Right,
If somebody's
that's what I
looking,
hate.
to leave me a comment and try to talk to me and they see their comment and start arguing with them, that just totally diverts them from actually having the conversation with me.
So I've noticed on the big videos, like the CBS News video, I comment over there, and all of the well-known trolls just show up, and I leave a comment, and they go back and forth. I had 150 comments underneath my comment, and long, involved. They'll say something, and I'll respond with like one sentence. And then they'll come back and they'll put all this effort in, and then after a day, I just delete my comment and repost it. So all of their work is gone.
There you go. That's great.
And they
love
get
that. I'm gonna
so
start doing
upset.
that.
They get so upset. They're like, "You're just deleting," I'm like, "Yes, I am."
And then they'll make a video.
Yep.
This David deleting comments.
And they go, "I'm going to make a video. I have screenshots." I'm like, "Please link my channel when you do that."
Yeah.
And don't forget
just
the
keep putting our
podcast.
names out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, gentlemen.
I
Keep
appreciate
up the good work. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys in Denver.
All right, man. Can't wait.
Can't wait. He's talking about in Denver, which will be November 15th and 16th, coming up just around the corner. And we will be there. David will be there. Myself, Bob from Globebusters, Eru will be there. Rob Skiba, Mark Sargent, Patricia Steer, Matt Long. Who am I forgetting?
Robbie Davidson,
Zen Garcia, Robbie Davidson will be there, of course, running it from Cryptos Media, and so many more. We could go on and on. Oh, how about coming from across the water, allegedly Dave?
Allegedly Dave. Looking forward to shaking his hand.
Me too. Have you ever met him before?
I have not. We go back. I discovered him early on, and we communicated, and I helped him out with his website a little bit, and we became good friends.
Yes, that's D Murphy 25 on YouTube.
And Marty Leeds is coming.
Yeah, I heard Marty Leeds is going to be there.
Yep.
That's awesome. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And then we've got also coming from across the pond, Flat Earth Man. So
all right. And
exciting.
Dave Marsh.
Yep, Dave Marsh is going to be doing a presentation with Mr. Thrive and Survive Rich, correct?
I did not know that, but that's fantastic.
I believe they're doing a moon presentation. And then I know that on Thursday night at 7 o'clock, we've got Rob Sungenis from the creator of the movie The Principal. He'll be going one-on-one in a debate against Rob Skiba. And, of course, Sungenis is a geocentric believer, so he already thinks a lot of the spinning ball is nonsense, but believes in the ball nonsense. So hopefully by the end of the conference, maybe we can have Sungenis on our side. That would be huge.
That would be, he'd have to lay down his ego and reshift his entire worldview.
Yeah, it's going to be a little tough, but it'll be good to hear them both go at it and hear some of the proofs both have. And I would love to hear about all the curvature that Mr. Sungenis has found. So that'll be Thursday night at 7 o'clock. So yeah, check out all that if you can. And if you are going, David, can you tell people what's going on Wednesday? That's the day most people are getting in. And at 3 p.m., I know we're going to be headed over to the billboard, correct?
Yeah, the billboard. It's I'm going to have Cammie explain exactly how to get there the easiest way, because it's a lot of interchanges and a lot of turns, but it's a billboard visible from many different vantage points. And we're going to gather at the billboard. We're going to spell out flat Earth. We're going to live stream from the drone, and we're going to make a whole big scene. So if you have a sign you can bring, hold up, Earth is flat, whatever you want to write, no small type, just big symbols, big letters.
Not spinning, in big letters.
Yeah, not spinning, globe, lie, Jeran shill, Bitcoin scammer, anything. Just bring that, and also, if you're coming from the warmer areas, we don't know what the weather's going to be in Denver. We could be in 2 feet of snow, it could be freezing, or you could be sweating. So bring some hiking boots or some snow boots or whatever. You're going to be walking through a little bit of weeds maybe. So just bring proper boots, and then you'll be happy.
And stay tuned to my channel, because I have the directions from Cammie. So she's given those to me. They're a little bit difficult, but I'm going to make a video talking about the conference, also pointing out the get together at 3 o'clock on Wednesday, and then also giving the directions how to get there. So stay tuned to my channel for that.
And a lot of people will be at the hotel at the conference center, gathering in the lobby and carpooling, Ubering. There'll be a lot of people with cars, so just show up there, and you could probably find a ride with somebody that has a car, is my guess. That's how it worked out last time.
Yeah, it was fun last time, and it was a place where we all got to meet each other, a lot of us, for the first time. So it'll be probably a lot of the same. I'm certainly looking forward to it, and that is, again, Wednesday, 3 o'clock. And bring signs, of course.
And follow on Twitter, the FE podcast, where any last-minute updates will be sent out from there.
Will be posted. Very cool. And if somebody does bring a sign that says Jeran is a shill and the other side says Bitcoin scammer, I will sign that sign. So.
Now there's going to be like 10 of them. I'm bringing one.
David, I do have a question. Earlier this month, and all you guys, I see there's a ton of calls waiting. Just hang on. After we get back from this short break, we will get to more calls. But we got about 2 minutes, and I did want to ask David how he was going about flat smacking for Halloween. My method, as I showed David earlier this month, was my flat earth carved pumpkin. And I thought you said you were going to beat it, but I've not received any text messages of any carved pumpkins anywhere near my level of carving skills.
There's 2 pumpkins that I've done for the last 10 years, and one of them is the big circle with the puking pumpkin. You've seen that, right? Basically, you cut an eye, 2 eyes, you cut a big circle for the mouth, and then you pull the insides and pull it halfway out of the mouth, and it's just the pumpkin vomiting. It takes 2 seconds to carve, and it's literally the best.
Except at night, nobody can see it, but go ahead.
No, everyone can see it. You put the candle in it, and it's fantastic.
Put the candle in it with all the pumpkin guts?
Yeah, well, you pull half of it out, so it's literally coming out and dripping off of its chin and on the ground, and it's the puking pumpkin.
All right, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I don't think that betters my flat earth pumpkin. But
it doesn't. Yours was pretty good. I kind of conceded. You win.
All right, I win.
You win.
But probably a few Snickers as people come to the door in 2 nights. So it should be interesting. But are you going to be doing any candy drops? Oops, don't mention that. We're going to a break. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Jeranism Monday Night Raw. We got half a show left. More call in 2.
Frequency Radio is your #1 source for news and information without the hate, hype, and fear. We're proud to feature cutting-edge programs like Beyond the Veil with Chris and Cherie Geo, X Squared with Brooks Agnew, Paranormal Portal with Brent Thomas, Jeranism RAW with Jeran and Missa, Fearless with Frank Castle, Strange World with Mark Sargent, The Eye of Ra with Ra Castaldo, The Infinite Fringe with Billy Ray, Ironworks with Josh Corey, The Kev Baker Show, and dozens more. Did you know you can listen from any telephone by dialing 641-793-7117 or call into your favorite show toll free at 833-TFR-LIVE. Uncensored talk and news you won't hear in the mainstream media. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
Pittsburgh Massacre, Pipe Bomb Hearing. I'm Ann Cates. The first court appearance today for the suspect accused of gunning down 11 people in a Pittsburgh synagogue. Correspondent Jerry Bodlander.
Robert Bowers was wheeled into the courtroom where the judge listed the charges against him. He signed some papers and agreed to be represented by a public defender. He'll be back in court on Thursday for a preliminary hearing when the prosecution will present evidence to back up the charges against him.
A hearing has been held for the man charged with sending more than a dozen pipe bombs to top Democrats and CNN. Correspondent Rosa Flores reports Cesar Sayoc was very emotional in court.
He was crying. His face was red. His eyes were full of tears. His temples were popping. His body was shaking. All this while he was sitting in the jury box in his tan jumpsuit, shackled by hands and feet, and his hair in a ponytail.
The Trump administration ordered more troops to be sent to the border with Mexico as thousands of Central American migrants head toward the U.S. General Terrence O'Shaughnessy says the goal is security.
As we sit right here today, we have about 800 soldiers that are on their way to Texas right now. They're coming from Fort Campbell. They're coming from Fort Knox. They're moving closer to the border. They're going to continue their training, and they're ready to deploy to be actually employed on the border.
Search and rescue efforts continue after an Indonesian plane carrying 189 people crashed into the sea near Jakarta. Correspondent Will Ripley.
Apparently, the captain called shortly after takeoff, asked to turn around and go back to the airport, did not indicate an emergency. But, of course, after that call was made, the flight dropped from 5,200 feet down to 3,000 feet, then it vanished from radar screens altogether.
On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average lost ground, closing down 245 points. The S&P off by 17. The Nasdaq down 117. I'm Ann Cates.
You are now tuned into the Truth Frequency.
We are TFR. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Walk like us. They even talk like us. Walk like us. But they are not like us. On the weekday, you can see the signs, you can see the signs. They wear the disguise. Look into the mind's eye. There's nowhere to hide. Don't stick all the lies. Whispers from afar.
All right, let's hit the mute button there. Welcome back. You're listening to Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Thank you for joining myself as well as David Weiss is here. And we are going to be taking your calls. However, I wanted to read something real quick. This is from the Denver Post, an article that came out today talking about the Flat Earth Conference. I'm going to read that real quick. And then I've got a request if there's any Flat Earthers out there that want to head over to this post. Again, if you just type in the search Denver Post, Flat Earth Conference in Denver, adds to Colorado's reputation. My guess is that they're deleting any flat earthers comments because all of the comments are ball earthers going off on their normal, you guys are idiots and you're sending the earth back 500 years and you're sending the earth back 2,000 years. And we've always known, of course, the earth is a ball. None of them providing any proof, of course. But the article itself is pretty good. Let's read it out here. So, again, the title is Flat Earth Conference in Denver Adds to Colorado's Reputation as a Hub for Those Questioning Science. Says the conference paid for billboard advertising near Interstate 70. Says the organizer of the upcoming Flat Earth International Conference to be hosted in Denver next month has a few things he wants to clarify. We don't believe we're on a pancake flying through space, Robbie Davidson said. Instead, the flat Earth is stationary and the sun and stars revolve around it, he clarified. Further, flat earthers don't believe people can fall off the edge of the world. When you first hear this topic, you laugh at it and think it's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard of, Davidson said. But if you keep an open mind, it's really a compelling topic. Davidson and his crowd are going against centuries of scientific evidence that proves the Earth is round. Ancient Greeks are given credit for the discovery, and it has been backed up by scientists ever since. Hundreds of people who believe the Earth is flat are expected to attend a conference in Denver next month due to Colorado's reputation as a hub for those who are skeptical of modern science's conclusions that the Earth is a globe. Davidson said that he has sold about 450 tickets to the Flat Earth International Conference so far, and expects about 500 people to attend the two-day event on November 15th and 16th. Conference is organized by Davidson's Canada-based Cryptos Media, and tickets to the event range from $199 to $349. About 400 people attended the first conference held last year in Raleigh. Thought there was more than that. A number of the conference speakers live along the Front Range, Davidson said, including Bob Nodell, a Denver man who runs Globebusters, one of the most popular YouTube channels on the theory. Davidson said he wasn't sure why so many believers of the theory lived in the area. The conference is geared towards skeptics and longtime believers of the flat earth theory alike, though Davidson said about 80% of the attendees were already on board with a flat world. The biggest reason people become flat earthers is because they go out and try and debunk it, he said. But not all those who investigate the shape of the world come to subscribe to the same alternate shape of the planet. There are variations on the flat earth theory. Davidson believes in a Christian biblical interpretation that teaches God created a flat earth, and his videos on YouTube point to scripture as the basis for some of his thoughts. He said that many who deny the world is round come from a religious perspective, but not all. If hypothetically you're going to take the Bible literally, he said, you got to be consistent. Last week, an advertisement for the conference went up along Interstate 70 east of Aurora. In large white lettering, the billboard asks passerbys to use Google to search flat earth clues. Excuse me one second. And shows an image of the Earth overlaid with a word fake in red lettering. Flat Earth theory is becoming more popular in part because of the social media and internet, despite scientific consensus that the world is a globe, Davidson said. We're not anti-science, Davidson said. We support true empirical science and what we can observe. End of article. But as I said, if you head over there, if you're a flat earther, and help put some good comments into the comment section, because right now it is littered with a bunch of nonsense name-calling. And this person says, I haven't figured out if these people are trying to prank humanity or if they're generally skeptical. Comments like that. You can't fix this kind of stupid. Hopefully these people are also too dumb to procreate and continue their stupidity. David, I've never heard that one. Have you?
No, never. Well, not in the last 10 minutes.
It's been about 3 minutes for me, so it's been a little longer.
Yeah, so this is an example of a mainstream, not flat earth circles video or article that's going to reach a lot of people that are interested that don't really know about flat earth, and that's where the trolls show up in force. I don't know if it's multiple with sock accounts or whatever, but they all show up at the same time, and they call in the reinforcements, and they literally dominate the comment sections, and that is a powerful tool on scaring people away.
Yeah, that's why I'd be anxious to see, because as far as I can tell, and I did look quickly earlier, I can't say for sure, but I saw about 20 or 25 comments, and I didn't see one flat earther. So that's why my suspicion is that they're deleting any flat earth comments and just leaving up the pro-globe. I could be wrong, so maybe I should perhaps leave a comment here. I haven't done so yet, but I will, and see if it remains and if any other flat earthers are out there. Sorry, it says conversation 36 comments, so 36 comments, and I haven't seen a flat earther yet. So check it out. Again, that's Denver Post, Flat Earthing Conference in Denver. Adds to the already skeptical area, or whatever it said. And David, the billboard was your idea, and your design. I think I helped a little bit, but I think it looks awesome.
Yeah, I was looking for something that would get a good Google result, which is getting harder and harder these days. Something that's easy to remember, easy to spell for people, because you're driving down the road. You don't have a lot of time to remember, a long phrase or search for something that's going to give you a horrible result. So with a lot of thinking went into it. Last year we had the Google Flat Earth 21 questions, A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth 21 questions, but that's a mouthful for somebody driving by at 80 miles an hour.
Right. This is much quicker and, definitely more condensed. And then also, I just love the globe with the word fake over it. Something that should upset you, I guess, if that's where you really believed you lived, or if that's where you did live. I would think that having that word fake plastered across it would upset you. But for me, somebody who certainly knows I don't live on this fake image that's part of this billboard, to see the word fake over it is fantastic to me. So
when I see a globe that doesn't have fake on it, I feel upset.
Right. It's like, what the hell? What's going on here? Where's the word fake?
Yeah.
Maybe they can start CGI-ing some clouds that say fake in there. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. So let's get back to the phones. But go here. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this and where are you from? Baller, flat earther? What are you?
Flat earther, definitely. I was actually a geocentrist. This is Steve in Oklahoma. I've talked to you before.
Hey, Steve.
Geocentrist for about 20 years. And I was about a 4-day convert.
Well, that's good to know that a geocentrist can convert.
Yeah, and I was going to say that's kind of somebody who's a geocentrist is already going to be halfway there. So my suspicion would be that it would be an easy move. And for you, it just took about 4 days, huh?
Yes. Just watching, showing that you see too far, and you already don't believe the ball globe nonsense of spinning and galaxies and the whole dark matter, dark energy, all that. It's just theory.
Absolutely. The guy Vsauce in one of his videos points out that despite all that we know about all the stars and the other suns, as they call them, he said that no telescope in the history of the world has ever seen any star as anything other than a point of light. So I think very few people realize that. They think that we have telescopes that are zooming into these stars and seeing them as spheres or seeing them as giant suns, when in actuality, all stars, no matter what star you're talking about, the most that's ever been seen of it is a point of light, no matter the telescope. So just an interesting little factoid there, but go ahead.
And for those of us that are listening out there, the mathematical construct of their own model is only between 5 and 6% correct. So you're going to believe in something that's only 5 or 6% correct, no matter what.
Right.
The rest is just made up.
Yep. And are you talking more about the energy, dark matter?
Yeah, just they have to put forth all these theories to explain their model.
Right.
And by what they know and what is true is only proven to be 5 and 6% correct. They have to, if they were able to prove in a black hole, then that would take it up to maybe like 15% or something like that. But they have to have all these theories.
You mean we've never seen a black hole?
Well, not one in space.
Oh,
good answer.
What I called it is Bob listening in chat?
I haven't seen him. Let me make. I don't know, but I bet you anything he's listening.
Okay. Well, I know that both of y'all bring up the coffee cup caustic a lot, and I didn't know if you knew that is a mathematical construct. And I got a video for him to watch. Yeah, Bob. It seems like he's a couple weeks on what it seems like I'll watch a video and a couple weeks later he's talking about it on Ghostbusters. So I know that we're on a lot of the same recommended videos. But there's a video out there called Times Table M and Elbrot, and The Heart of Mathematics, and it's by Math Olger, Matholger, and it explains the mathematical construct of the coffee cup caustic.
Awesome. I will check that out, and I will pass it along to Bob as well. Thank you for that.
Okay, that'd be great. And as far as y'all mentioning other things, giving, taking ideas from other people and then working on it, some things, I'm in Oklahoma, so I don't have any large bodies of water that are, miles and miles. I'd love to see like the skunk bay footage, the time lapse. I'd love to see a lot of side-by-side time lapse type stuff, like the infrared. Somebody had an infrared camera next to a regular camera and do the time lapse side by side on a bay. I'd love to see something like that.
Good idea.
I've also said, Dave, with your drone and seeing the sun disappear, I'd love to see infrared side by side. It may take you another drone. I mean, I'd be willing to pitch in and help with another drone if you could get one that was infrared, like side by side.
Convert the camera on the drone to infrared. That'd be very good.
Yeah. Well, not only convert it, but have one that's your normal and does the sun disappear in the normal camera, and then we still be able to see it. Like if it's looking like it's going behind the curve on the regular camera, and then in the infrared, if we could still see it.
I'm not so sure that would happen, because there's a difference between viewing a boat and viewing the sun. The boat you're looking at from a terrestrial perspective. The sun you're looking at from a terrestrial vantage point to a celestial perspective. And when the sun disappears, it's actually going behind something that's opaque. I'm wondering, will the infrared camera be able to see through that opaqueness? I don't know enough about how the infrared works.
Don't know, but even if it was like 1 or 2 seconds,
Yeah.
Yeah, and if people are interested in
one thing.
what we're talking with, just what we're talking about with the infrared footage, the channel to check out, only with 600 or 6,000 subscribers right now, is J Tolan Media 1, and that's JTOLAN, new word media, MEDIA, and the number 1. Check out his channel. He's got some amazing infrared footage, and I just talked to him recently, and I might be headed down soon. Well, it would be after the conference, but headed down to his area in Southern California to do some observations, looking out off the beach and seeing if we can see Catalina Island and some other things from quite low. So I'd look forward to that. Some of the best footage infrared-wise is on J Tolan Media 1's channel, but go ahead.
One other thing is I'd love to see somebody redo the Rob Skiba experiment in the across the bay that he did with the boat. I'd love to see that done with a helicopter. Have one camera pointed down showing that you're only about 10 foot above the water, and the other camera pointed straight across, and cut that distance to where it's about 15 minutes across, and redo his experiment.
Another excellent idea. And I don't know, did you say at the beginning what's your number one proof for the Earth not being a globe, or number one proof for the Earth being flat?
Well, like I said, I was already geocentrist, and then I'd say you just, the distance. We just see too far. So in other words,
that's a big one.
I'm a very mathematical construct type person, and so if the math doesn't fit, you must have quit.
Well, good, because some of the stuff like Canigou, the mountain that you can clearly see the entire mountain chain from 175 miles away when you're only 1,000 feet high at the observation point, and that mountain itself should be thousands of feet, if not miles, behind the curve, but is right there for you to see. And of course, the scientific explanation for that is refraction, that the sun is lifting the mountain chain up and showing it to you at your horizon, which makes no sense in the world.
And last, Dave, I believe that a couple years ago you said that you had the John Ellis water purifier. Was that correct?
I actually never got it because I ended up going a different route with a distiller, and And Jeran has a distiller also, and I swear by it. There's actually a video. It's an old video that I just sent Jeran the other day. And Jeran, what did you think of that video about distilled water?
I thought it was fantastic. I'll go ahead and place it in the. Did you send it to me on Skype?
I sent you a link. I have it actually on StopLookThink.com under the health tab. So if you go to StopLookThink.com and then over on the right it says other pages, then click health. It's the first video there. It's a 35-minute video, I think, and it's worth every second.
I totally agree.
Yeah, you'll never drink any other water again. Jeran asked me, "What are you gonna? What do you do when you travel?" And I say, "I just die of thirst or drink Pepsi."
Yeah, because we just started using it, about 2 months ago, and I swear by it now. And once you see this video and you see the kind of the stuff that's coming out of your tap water, we also have a water tester here, which tells you the parts per million of the contaminants. And to see it come out of your faucet at 450 or 350, you put it into this distiller, press the button, and within 5 hours, you've got a gallon of water. The test comes back 0 or 1 parts per million. So you got to watch the video to see. And then the other thing that you have to know is that the cool thing about this show is we've had a friend of the show, Sophia Smallstorm, on to talk about Restore, something that I recommend, I use, but I make no money off of it. We talked about the tilted bed, helping the back pain and snoring, another amazing thing that we make no money off of. And this is just another, just trying to pass on healthy tips so that you can stay healthy. Once you see these videos, you'll understand why it is that we've chosen to go with distilled water for everything. So it's definitely a big one. But you were talking about the water purifier?
Yeah, there's a John Ellis one out there. It distills the water, but it also runs it through an infrared. And I can't, of course on their website they swear that it has healing benefits also. And, I just, can't find any testimonials from other than their website. And I thought that Dave had said that he had looked
I had looked in. I literally had my finger on the purchase button, and I ended up talking to a couple people that have them, and it just didn't quite sell me. And then I didn't see that it was that much different. The distiller is $235 delivered to your door. The John Ellis water one is like $2,700.
It's over $2,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get the 2 lights, the one with 2 lights. Yeah.
And it's hideously ugly, large, and you have to have it. It makes noise. You have to monitor it. You can't just turn it on. Like I turn mine on and go to bed. You can't do that. You have to monitor it, and I just didn't see it. So.
Yeah, and after you've had it for about a month, talking about the distiller Dave is discussing, once you've had it for a month or so, you get this buildup on the inside of the tank, and it's unbelievable to see that once you realize that all that would have been in your body or had to be processed by your body. It's crazy to see what's actually in the water. And the video that David's talking about does a great job explaining what the water treatment plants do. So, if a animal dies in the pipes or something, what they do is they just put more chlorine in the water just to help clean out the dead animal parts. But people have found hairs in their water from these animals, and the water treatment plants will say, oh, we thought we got rid of that entire animal. So it's pretty crazy when you look at all the ammonia and everything else, the chlorine, that they're just throwing in the water. And he does a good presentation of getting a bottle of water or a thing of water, chunking it up with a bunch of muck and crap, and then he just puts in a little chemical, stirs it up, and the water's crystal clear. But you just saw him put all of this crap in there. So just because your water looks clear, that it comes out of the faucet clear, it isn't a sign at all of your water being at all healthy.
What about the one of the my favorite experiment he does? He takes 2 beakers, and he has one with regular tap water and puts all the chemicals in it, to make it clear, but we know it has the chemicals. And then the other one that has distilled water, puts all the crap in it, and then he dumps them both out. And you look at the residue, the one that had the distilled water in it pulled all of the chemicals out with it and left the jar clean, showing how distilled water will pull toxins out of your body and get them out of your body. And that does a million things besides, keeping you healthy and stopping you from your body wraps those toxins with fat and stores them in your body. So distilled water makes you lose weight. Jeran lost like 50 pounds, right?
50?
No, 15. I'm Iru.
Yeah. Yeah, 15. I was going to say 50. You got your hopes up, my friend. Give me some time. Give me a little bit of time. And I can't really, walking every morning, but I think a lot of it has to do with the water and just eating healthy, and it kind of, gets you on that right path. Once you start fixing one thing, other things follow quickly behind. So, yeah, he does another example I thought was interesting is he takes the purified water, the distilled water, and washes his hands in it, and then offers a girl in the front row, would you drink this water? And she's like, no, you just washed your hands in it. But then he tests the two waters, and the one he just washed his hands in, the distilled water, is completely clean. It's like 10 times cleaner than the tap water. And of course, if she was offered to drink that, she would say yes. So he just does a good job of explaining exactly what's wrong with our water and why it's making people sick and giving people kidney stones. And if you have any issues, urinary tract, a lot of it has to come down to your water. So great that you brought that topic up. I would have, you can tell I didn't pay you to bring that topic up, but it was a good topic.
Well, we've drank reverse osmosis water for years, but I've never done the distilled water. So I was really looking to switch to save the money, and have that one expenditure, at first, and then, but buying the reverse osmosis water every 3 or 4 days is the distiller would already paid for itself in a couple months.
Yeah, no, definitely check out the distiller. I don't know the brand name of it, but like I said, do you have that listed on your site there or on the?
I do. It's the Mega Home. It's on Amazon. It's the Mega Home distiller. It comes in white and silver, and the only way that they'll ship it to you quickly and I believe for free is if you click the Amazon link on Jeranism.com before you buy it.
Right. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, there goes my whole thing. If we don't make money off this stuff, no. Yeah, I would appreciate that. If you are going to buy it, you could always do it from my link and throw a few percentage my way, free for you. And then you get healthier. And that's the ultimate goal, is to keep people happy and healthy so that they can live to see this globe Earth destroyed.
Right. And one last thing, every time I talk about distilled water, somebody reaches out to me. I heard it. I couldn't afford the distiller, so I was buying gallons of it in the store. A gallon of distilled water in a store, you're better off drinking Pepsi with a shot of gasoline in it. It's better for you.
Yeah, you don't want to drink the stuff from the store. I think it usually says not for human consumption on the front of the bottle, so maybe adhere to that.
Yeah.
More.
Because the distilled water will leach the plastic and chemicals out of a plastic bottle more than regular water will. So it is literally toxic if you drink distilled water from a plastic jar. And I believe the plastic jars say not for human consumption when there's distilled water in them.
Yeah, I think so too. So it's great. Buy yourself a glass bottle, or if you have one, or individual glass bottles. And like Dave said, I just turn it on when I go to bed. It makes a little bit of noise, nothing that you can't sleep over or can hear from your bedroom. And then the next morning you've got a full, what is that, glass jar, a gallon?
A gallon jar is good, or just, get some pop-top glass jugs like the old Grolsch bottles.
Yep. And awesome. And I've also been, just to add in there, I've been drinking a glass of lemon water every day with just a juiced lemon. So, something else I've heard a lot of people recommend, which I think has helped me a ton. I'm not sure, but I had one day that went by that I didn't have it, and I felt like shit all day. So now I just do it every day and can't say I felt like shit since.
There you go.
Any other comments, concerns, questions, proofs?
No. Just lemon helps alkalize your body is what's that doing. Because all the food, the toxins that we take in are acid. and that's what that lemon's doing.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate the call. Don't go anywhere. 1/2 hour left. Jeranism RAW.
Don't become dependent on the medical system. Get and stay healthy naturally with Extendivite. Metals in the liver cause peroxides to get dumped into the bloodstream. Peroxides do more damage than free radicals to the arteries, and the LDL has no protection from peroxides, causing the LDL to get stuck in the arteries, creating a potential blockage. Extendivite slowly chelates the metals away from the liver so it can dispose of what was meant to be a harmless process, peroxide. Extendivite 7 herbs has a job to strengthen the organs and circulatory highway. Can you afford a heart attack? Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If you have hard water, the Lime Scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate Lime Scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death. This is Uncle Walt from the Ironworks. Josh, Corey, and I have chosen to look at life with no fear. No fear of the unknown. No fear of questions about the supposedly well-known. No fear of ridicule for thinking outside the familiar fool's lines. No fear of the boot on the neck of those refusing the party line. No fear of taking on those so convinced of their beliefs they would sooner drink the Kool-Aid than believe they've been fools made. In this world filled with me too, cattle think, can truth's protective layers be peeled back to show the tender, juicy pink? Are we all just grist for the mill? Souls sold against our will, or is that just how it feels? When you're filled to the rim with TV-alities so fear-filled and grim, break clear of the fear right here, Tuesdays and Fridays at 2 a.m. on TFR. Josh and I and you will hammer out the impurities of technology-driven groupthink, fold in a dash of logic, and quench it all with a bit of absurdity. The Ironworks. Break clear of the fear.
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Welcome back. This is Jeranism Monday Night Raw. I'm Jeran from Jeranism. I'm in California at my desk running the show. My co-host is somewhere in New Jersey on his couch nearing dreamland. He is David Weiss.
Oh, please.
And David, last night, I don't know if you heard the beginning of the show I did with Iru, but something interesting happened the other night. I used to be a big baseball fan.
That was amazing. Let's talk about that in detail, please.
All right. Well, I'm a big baseball fan, or was a big baseball fan. I would never probably pay money to go to a game again or even pay money to watch it on TV or get the channel or whatever. But we do have the little rabbit ears attached to my TV because I don't have cable or DirecTV. But I do have the ability to pick up local stations. So I saw that the Dodgers-Red Sox game was on Fox. I said, let me see if I can get it. Sure enough, got it as we sat down to eat. The game was starting. And at the beginning, you get a Neil deGrasse voice. I said, what is this? You got to be kidding me. It was Neil deGrasse giving an intro to the World Series game, talking about all the universe was created 14.54 billion years ago, and the stars are everywhere, but tonight they're in L.A., and he goes on and talks about the Dodgers being down 2-0, and that they need a big bang out of their arsenal, and that they are in danger of falling in a 2-0 black hole. I mean, just ridiculous, because when you think about it, I'm just thinking in my head, I've seen so many World Series games in my life, never heard any kind of scientific entity to intro the show and basically just sell the world the globe lie. There's no other way I can look at it. It's just convenient for them to step in and voice that at this time when people are starting to question the shape of the earth. So what do? You get a quick word or a re-indoctrination for the 20 million people or so that watch the World Series. So an easy way for science to kind of get its religion out there in the minds of people and remind them that they live in a galaxy of endless space and that the Earth is a spinning ball amongst many, and that you're insignificant, of course. And that so yeah, it was pretty crazy. You can check that out by going to my channel, Jeranism, and looking at the video Eru, live with Eru, and it was part 2. And at the beginning of that, you can hear the Neil deGrasse intro. Pretty crazy to hear from my opinion. I said, I cannot believe that they're going to this length. It really shows to me, David, that they're getting desperate.
I saw the clip. You sent it to me before the hangout, and right after his entire indoctrination speech, it zooms in on the field in the perfect compass and square layout. Now, Eero mentioned that on the hangout, where the baseball diamond is a Masonic compass and square. And it's so in our faces. It's unbelievable. But people that have no idea what's going on in the world, they're like, oh, come on. They wouldn't do that. They just can't wrap their minds around it.
No. Yeah. And it's just, it's classic to me. It just really says so much, because this is something, like I said, there's no other bodies of science that have to come on and push. Chemistry doesn't come on before the NBA finals and have to push different elements to you and try to convince you that the periodic table is true. And astrophysics is the one that needs to do that, because it's a place that no one's ever been, that you're not going, that they tell you exists. And what better way to keep you believing in it than to just always remind you, even at the start of a baseball game, that the Earth was created 14.54 billion, or the universe was 14.54 billion years old, or whatever it is. I don't know. Earth is 4.54. Universe 14. To me, bunch of bullshit, bunch of nonsense. So check out that. That was on Eru Part 2 if you want to watch the beginning of that. Let's get back to the phones. Again, if you want to call in, there is a few spots open. 213-233-3998. Let's go to the first caller. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this? Where are you from? Going once? Going twice? Caller, you're on Jeranism Monday Night Raw? Nope.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Sorry about that. I had you on mute. And yes, I was the one that had the feedback at the beginning. I'm so sorry about that.
No problem. Usually
I called the line twice, so for some reason it was feeding back. So that's my bad. Sorry about that.
No problem. And appreciate for your honesty there. You could have just pretended like you don't know who that idiot was that did that, but go ahead.
Well, anyway, so I'm Carlos. I've called before. I'm the meatballer that works for DirecTV.
Oh, Carlos. Yeah, I remember. And actually, I had talked to the Globebusters crew, and I think we do want to do a show maybe with you on it. So I know you'd sent me an email. I'll get back to you on that email, but would love to probably have you on Globebusters because we can have a conversation.
Excellent. All right. And I guess I have to give one of the proofs or reason why I believe the Earth is not flat, right?
Yes, you do.
All right. So one that I would say is there isn't yet a model that explains the how the sun will work in a flat Earth.
No. You have to come up with a proof on the ball, not a proof why the flat Earth doesn't work. You have to give us a proof that you live on a ball.
Not necessarily a proof, but your best proof.
Oh man! Thank you. I didn't. I see it now. Now y'all messed me up. Well, how about this? DirecTV still works. How do satellites work? But
take off the dish. Take off the dish and watch it still work.
It doesn't. I can tell you that, being a DirecTV technician for 3 years. But anyway, I'm working on making some videos about that and hopefully talk about that in the future. Maybe if I make it to a Globebuster. But that's not the reason I'm calling. The reason I'm calling is because you know what? I want to give credit where credit is due. And Jeran, I was talking with these guys in regards to the SpaceX live transmission. And I wanted to say that Jeran is right about a lot of things in regards to that transmission. So it was live, and they messed up the camera feed. It was very obvious to me. I mean, Jeran, you pay a lot of attention to detail, and that's why you were able to catch that. They also, when they re-uploaded it, it was shorter. And in the original transmission, they try to show the part where the car was opening sync with the music, and unfortunately, the people who was running the mixing weren't able to get it, the timing right. That's why they had to show it later on. But then, of course, they re-released the event, and they show it right on time, and the people's reaction, timed properly. And I think, and I know that's not your issue. Issue is that it still says there was a live transmission, even though it was, tweaked and then re-uploaded. And I'm sure that is one of the issues you have with, right, Jeran?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, you're able to change your live streams under certain conditions. And one of those is if you have less than 100,000 views, you can chop the end or the beginning off. So if people have noticed before, I usually start my live streams with a 1.5-minute countdown timer. That's because that's when people get the notification that I'm going live, and this gives them time to get there before the show starts. But so I go back in after sometimes and chop, if I think about it, I'll chop off that 1.5 minutes, and it still remains uploaded as a live stream. The difference is with the SpaceX one is that they were able to go in and actually make changes to the video, moving different
totally.
Right, like you said, moving an image from the end of the video to where they wanted it, and also changing the video length by kind of correcting the landing scene, right?
The timing.
Right. So the timing, they did fix the timing, and that's what my problem was, is because all those changes were made. Also, the changes that I said I make when I chop off the end or beginning of my video, YouTube has a rule where if you have more than 100,000 views, you cannot do that, which makes sense because you've got a lot of views. It's a live stream. Well, they had at that time, over 18 million views, and were still able to edit and chop up the video, which is not allowed for any other channel. And then on top of that, they did something that no channel can do, and no channel should ever do, which is change the contents of the video. And still, if you look on YouTube, it's still listed as a live stream. It says live streamed on such and such date. And there is no notification that, hey, by the way, the contents of this video have been changed. Once that's okay, once people accept that, and a lot of globe earthers, they accept that and just say, oh, well, they just changed it. They didn't make any huge changes. They just rearranged some pictures. Well, what they did was change history, because they're changing a live feed. And once that's possible, at least for me, I no longer really care much about watching live spacewalks or anything and trying to catch these guys in mistakes, because they can just go in after and change them and still call it live. So, yeah, great that you brought that.
And that's, yeah, and that's where I would kind of start, up to that point, I agree with you, where they did re-upload a whole different video. They didn't just chop that off. And obviously the guys you were talking to have not looked at that that many times as you and I have looked at it. And but I think here's the thing. So now we have that version that has been, basically the cuts are different, and they changed some things. And I think, and you're saying that basically that's rewriting history. Now, and I have watched a live program where where I have watched it again when it was re-aired, and that second time when it was re-aired, the camera angles were different. Now here's the thing: we have multiple video tracks that are being recorded simultaneously, and when they rerun the show, if there was, say, a mistake on, they changed to a camera that had nothing, or it was looking the wrong way. So when they re-air this stuff, they edit it differently. But I would say that makes it, changing history. But I will agree with you. They don't have that written down saying, hey, we re-uploaded or whatever. And I think that, of course, they got special treatment, and maybe not because it's fake, but it could be just because they have a lot of influence in that company, and obviously it's a company that have a lot of money. But once again, like you said, there's nothing that says that they changed it. Not that I wouldn't say they have to, but it would be nice. And you did say yourself, if they went back and put, hey, we re-uploaded it, we messed up, then you would feel a little bit better about it. But I think the fact that they show something that was live and they changed the angles and the timing of things, I wouldn't say necessarily that it's changing history, because like I said, it's been done before with all the live stuff.
Defending what they did as legitimate and upfront and as a good thing. Is that what I'm hearing?
Let me ask this one question.
No. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, but just ask this one question. So you're saying that they had different camera angles and everything. So the view at the end that they put where the car is in space and then all of a sudden the capsule opens, the music plays and the capsule opens, that was at the end of, that was placed at the end of the video, completely out of sequence, right? And then they went back and then put that video scene or that scene in the middle where it should have gone. But how do you know, because you just said they have different angles, how do we know that that image wasn't done ahead of time? You're saying that that's just one of the images. Well, we don't know that because it wasn't played live. It was actually placed into the wrong section way at the end of the video, and then they put it where they wanted it in the middle. Now you're saying, well, it's still live footage. They just had a different camera angle. It's still live. They didn't really change history. But isn't it possible, so just stay with me for a second, isn't it possible that if I filmed in a studio this car being in this capsule and the capsule opens, and then I want to place that into my live video, isn't this the way that you would do it so that that studio shot could look like it was a live shot when we both know, you and I both know, that that video of the part where it opens was not live because it was placed way at the end in the wrong section, correct?
Well, that there's you catch me over here, you caught me over here, but yeah, technically, if you wanted to say something, then yeah, basically you can pre-record it, pre-render, whatever, and throw it. The only thing different, the only thing that I would say, explain that it happened, is you heard the reaction of the people, and then the camera cuts to the thing already open. Later on, because they messed up and didn't mix it properly when it was being broadcasted live, that's why they played it towards the end. So here, this is what we, the part that we missed, the thing opening, and I think that's why they played it towards the end on the original live feed. Now, of course, when they went later on, they put it, where it was supposed to be. But yes, technically, you could pre-record something and play it. Yeah, I agree with you, but still, if that was, if that's the premise, and yeah, they could record everything else, and just play it back.
I think it's clear to me that it was pre-rendered, because the reason why is because why else would it end up at the end of the film? You're basically saying it was another camera shot. Well, then that means somebody grabbed the camera shot and decided, let's play this at the end, played it at the end, and then later said, now let's go back and put it where it goes. I mean, that doesn't make sense.
No, not necessarily. What I think happened in the first broadcast is they were supposed to change to that camera to that video feed, and they didn't do it in time, so you didn't get to see it opening. So you see it when they changed to it, it's already happened. You already heard the reaction of the crowd.
Correct.
And then you see it. So later on, the people who was mixing say, darn, we messed up. We didn't show the part it was supposed to, where it was opening. And that's probably why they threw it, towards the end. So here, this is what happened. We messed up. I think that's what happened.
Well, that's the thing about, you can make an excuse for anything. Right. No matter what, anything happens, you can make an excuse for them. And then there's no way to prove it.
Hey,
except common sense.
Well, with that premise, it works also for the flat Earth. But you hear and say.
Yeah, except for none of us are doing that. Nobody has the ability to change their live stream as they did. Like I said, I can chop off the ending or the beginning of my live stream, but I cannot take pieces of it from the end of my live stream and reinsert them in the middle and say, oh, this is where it should have gone, and it still be listed as a live stream. It's actually impossible.
Right.
It's not
or do it where there's a mistake where they totally got busted for lying and replace that.
I wouldn't say that.
I know you
wouldn't. I would say the fact that they I showing that the video later on. I mean, if you were putting money into faking this thing, I mean, why would you mess up that one part? But here's the thing. Let's find common ground and say that
if they're putting money into the real event, why would you mess it up? So I mean,
because these people who are running the broadcast are just dorky people from SpaceX. They messed up. Obviously, they need to stick with blind rockets.
I just think that once you've let this go, I think that you are, if you're in the camp of somebody who's making excuses for this, then you have to kiss off the future of live video. If you're now able to go in and remove things and place them at different places, who draws the line? Who's going to stop people, especially when they're doing something that isn't even possible on YouTube? It is impossible to edit your video, meaning that you had to go to somebody at YouTube and say, hey, we're going to change our video and re-upload it, and we want you to keep the same date and keep saying streamed. It's not even physically possible for a channel to do what SpaceX did.
Hey, before we let you go, I have a question. Do you believe right now there is a red Tesla flying in space? Yes or no?
Pass.
So you don't believe but you believe that the video they changed it to just for better editing, but there's really not a Tesla in space. Come on, man, get real. Is there another call, Jeran, before the show ends?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for the call. Call again next week.
And we'll hear some more from you, I'm sure, as I will get in contact with you through email.
You forgot the background music.
Thank you. Yeah, well, last week it didn't play. That was really upsetting. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this? Where are you from?
Hey, what's up, Jeran David? This is Josh from Oregon.
Josh from Oregon, our good buddy, friend of the show. What's going on?
Josh, how you doing? Are you coming to the conference, Josh?
You know I'm coming. I already got my tickets like 6-7 months ago. So
I keep losing track. I just like to ask.
Are you coming to the Jeranism Patrons Dinner? That's what I got to ask.
I don't know if I'm invited. We'll see.
Come on.
I think it would be an added benefit if David wants to go. You're invited.
All right.
I'm buying.
All right. Whatever. No excuse. So I was gonna throw my baller proof in there, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna do we don't have enough time. I'm gonna do my flat Earth proof. Flat Earth proof in Oregon. I'm near Bend, Oregon, and I can see Mount Shasta from here. It's about 200 miles away and 1,400 feet up, and should be hidden by 2,000 feet of curvature plus.
All right, good proof. You have lots of video footage of that, or have you taken any?
I don't have video footage of it yet. My brother is about to get a P900 or P1000. We're going to do some photographs. So, yeah, it'll be cool.
Very cool. Well, I like that proof.
And then,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say I'm stoked for doing the dinner thing. I was going to ask if it's possible if we could make it close to the conference event because I'm not going to have a car, or else I'm calling a seat in your car to get there.
All right, so Josh has got the back passenger side window.
Sweet.
Yeah, we'll keep it close because we have to be back by 7 to watch the debate. So the event ends at 5, and we got to be back at 7. So we'll definitely be close to the hotel. That I can promise you.
Cool. Right on. I'm excited to do it.
All right, yeah, me too. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. We got another caller. You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this? Where are you from?
Hey, it's me again. I'm sorry. So the SpaceX thing, I put out a video when that first went down.
Excuse me, what's your flat Earth proof?
Wait, what your flat Earth proof? Your number one reason we live on Earth.
Oh, this is my flat Earth proof that this outer space is fake, and it's ginger, as I'm sure you know.
Okay.
But SpaceX didn't get the memo out to everyone. So when the guy kept on reloading and uploading that stupid video, they didn't upload the new SpaceX video. with it being faked. They just kept replaying it with the two landing pads being the exact same over and over again. So they uploaded, or sorry?
Until they did the re-upload and then they fixed the camera?
No, not on this. This guy that just kept on playing the same original feed.
Oh, gotcha.
From it. So he kept on playing the same thing for like days and days that showed all the fakery. And they didn't get the memo from SpaceX that we got a new video. Start playing this.
Yeah, I think
because that's where I got my information from.
Yeah, smarter
But
every day.
my original calling.
Hey, go ahead.
Sorry, Jeran. I'm sorry.
No, there's the
I'm
delay.
just totally ahead of myself.
Go ahead. You're up.
Toronto meetup coming up on November 4th between 2:30 and 6 at the Keatling Channel Pub and Grill. That's why I wanted to call in, just to shout out a Toronto meetup, because
have you passed
if you're in
to Mark Sargent? Mark Sargent is the guy to go to with meetups. He'll make you a video, promote it and all.
Oh, it's already been done.
Good.
Yeah. But I figure if there's anybody, because a lot of people watching my channel are Southern Ontarioites, Ontarians. I don't know what we call ourselves. But if you don't know, Toronto meetup. All right, guys. If you can get another call in there, take it. Love you.
Appreciate it,
man. Thanks.
You're on with Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Who's this? Where are you from?
Hey, this is Northern Light Star from Chico, California.
What's up, Chico?
And my, Chico.
What's up?
Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it. Yeah, been there a few times. You have
okay.
You a flat earther or a globe earther?
Oh, flat earther, of course.
Yes, of course to me, but there is people like the previous caller or the one before. Yeah. You know, what's your best proof that you live on a flat Earth?
My best proof that the world is flat or not round is that there is no. Sorry, I got my car thing going. We're not wearing my seatbelt. I should probably put it on. It's the fact that we don't have any real pictures of Earth as a ball, and you can tell all the ones from space are fake, or the obvious composites are obviously composites, and but the ones from the moon where it shows the Earth, it always is the wrong size. Earth is 4 times the size of the moon, so it shouldn't be the same size as the moon from the moon. Earth should be bigger, 4 times bigger.
Agree.
And and there's just no real picture of it altogether. And I heard in a debate, a flat Earth debate, that the guy on the Glober side was there's no just because NASA has faked some pictures or footage, that doesn't mean Earth isn't a globe, or isn't a globe. And I was like, what? That makes no sense. Of course, the only reason they fake it is because they can't have a real one.
We can get pictures of all of the other planets, but not Earth. That's what gets me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Flyby pictures of Pluto.
Yeah, but that's my
the outline of the dog Pluto.
Coincidence.
Sorry, yeah, you're right.
All right, we're running out of time here. Anything we want to cover before the show ends, Jeran?
Appreciate the call. No, just thank you guys for listening another week. I do believe we'll be back next week. Can't say for sure what's happening the week after, but please join us in Denver. That's November 15th and 16th for the Flat Earth International Conference. And you can go to fe2018.com if you want to get tickets. And again, do follow us and figure out where we're going to be on the Wednesday at 3 p.m. And for last minute updates, follow the FE podcast on Twitter. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so by using the Amazon link at the top of the Jeranism.com website, or you can simply donate through paypal.me/Jeran. That's Jeran.
And before we go, I just want to say one thing. Stars are living entities. They're souls. Jeran's a Jesuit. He's hiding the truth. Look into it. Stars are souls.
Truth Frequency Radio is your #1 source for news and information without the hate, hype, and fear. We're proud to feature cutting-edge programs like The Christopher Everard Show, The Covert Report with Susan Lindauer, Enemy Within Radio with Tom Barnes, Freaky Friday with The Woo Crew, The Gematria Effect with Zachary Hubbard, America's Evil Genius with Travis Cook, Phoenix Rising Radio with Phoenix, Quantum Connections with Lucky, and dozens more. Did you know you can listen from any telephone by dialing 641-793-7117 or call into your favorite show toll free at 833-TFR Live. Uncensored talk and news you won't hear in the mainstream media. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
Pittsburgh attack, migrant caravan. I'm Ann Cates. The alleged gunman in the Pittsburgh synagogue massacre has appeared in court.
Wounded in a shootout with police, 46-year-old Robert Bowers was wheeled into the courtroom where the judge read the charges against him. Court officers released one of his hands from handcuffs so he could sign some documents. U.S. Attorney Scott Brady says Bowers will again appear in court on Thursday.
At that time, we will have the opportunity to present evidence demonstrating that Robert Bowers murdered 11 people who were exercising their religious beliefs.
Brady has started the process to seek the death penalty in the case. Bowers is being held in jail without bond. Jerry Bodlander, Pittsburgh.
Cesar Sayoc went before a judge today in Miami after his arrest for mailing pipe bombs to top Democrats and CNN. Defense attorney Jamie Benjamin reacted to reports that Sayoc had a hit list of more than 100 people.
All we have to go on is the complaint that originated out of the Southern District of New York, where it alleges the original 13 packages and some evidence that they claim may tie our client to that. So the things that were reported today, the government has not shared with us, and we do not have any knowledge of it whatsoever.
More troops are being sent to the Mexican border as thousands of Central Americans make their way to the U.S.
General Terrence O'Shaughnessy says Operation Faithful Patriot, as it's being called, will focus on California, Arizona, and Texas, and include, along with military personnel, helicopters, weapons, airplanes, barriers, and razor wire. Meanwhile, U.S. spokesman Stefan Dujarric says the approach should be a balanced one
that respects the rights of refugees, that respects the dignity of migrants, and that respects the sovereign right of each member state of the United Nations to control their border.
Jim Roop, Los Angeles.
On Wall Street, the Dow fell 245 points, the NASDAQ off 117. I'm Ann Cates.
You are now tuned into the Truth Frequency.
Your protection from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
Broadcasting straight to you from a large spaceship, currently winning the war with the mainstream scientific community. Meanwhile, the peanut gallery is wondering why Elon Musk has chosen a billionaire and some artists to be the first civilians around the moon. Sure, the billionaire is understandable, but I guess he hopes that paintings will be more convincing than live videos? We'll see. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Strange World, where the truth is often stranger than fiction. I'm your host, Mark Sargent, the creator of Flat Earth Clues, which propose that all of us are living inside a Truman Show enclosed structure thousands of miles wide. Check it out at enclosedworld.com or just Google Flat Earth Clues. If you can't find it, you're just not very good at the internet. For those of you listening to this on YouTube, you want to hear the show live as it happens, please go to Truth Frequency Radio,